Hey, Chris Lipe here. I was listening to Love of My Life, Queen, the other day, and just re-enamored with the studio performance of that song by Freddie Mercury. And I started singing along to it and noticing all the little quirks in his voice, how he goes seamlessly and so expressively transfers between his chest voice and his head voice. Love of my life, you've hurt me. That sort of thing. But he does that throughout the song so well. And I got to thinking about visualizing what he must have looked like in the studio when he was singing that take. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out and see, what kind of videos are out there of him doing this song live and watch his expressions. And this really sort of reinvigorated a principle of singing that I haven't talked about much. And I wanted to point this out to everybody because there's a lot that Freddie Mercury does that a lot of singers don't do. But there's one overarching thing that he does that a lot of singers don't do that bleeds into a ton of other areas of singing and solves a lot of problems when you do what he's doing. So I want to take us through a brief snippet of Love of My Life, live at Wembley, 1986. We're going to watch this little section, and then we're going to unpack this magic, this it factor that he has in his singing. And then we're going to discuss how simple it is for us to put that in our own voices. And this discipline of pulling, extracting things from other singers and putting them in our own voices is a great way to improve your voice. But if you don't have the fundamentals down with your own singing, you're not going to be able to do this very well. If you would like help developing your support, breath support, developing how things should feel as you vary the sound of your voice, as you try to expand your range and sing more expressively, click the link below and join my free vocal course. All right, let's get into this.
My life, don't leave me. You've stolen my love, you now desert me. Love of my life, can't you see? Bring it back, don't take it away from me because you don't know what it means to me.
Watch carefully.
This is blown over and everything's on by the way. When I grow older, I will be there at your side to remind you that I still love you.
Okay, so much to unpack. What dawned on me is that Freddie Mercury is the ultimate vocal frontman, right? He engages with the audience and presents and is involved with the audience in a way that really no other performer has truly been able to do, right? And so when we look at the studio performances, and this particular one is in a lower key, and so he doesn't have that neat break up to his head resonance like he does in the studio performance. But what's really exposed when you watch him, he's not performing to the audience. And you can see it as he directs them. He's pulling the audience in. He's pulling the audience into what he's doing. He's not presenting, he is inviting. This is a key aspect to singing and vocal performance. And when you truly have this perspective that you are inviting your audience in to what you're doing, there's this sense of know me, be okay with me, experience what I'm experiencing. I've said this before on the channel, that singing is an experience. It's not a competition. It's not an art form in and of itself. The experience is what makes it artistic and relatable and amazing. And you can see this in the rest of this video, both before and after this little clip that I showed you. He is, conducting the audience, and he's inviting the audience to sing things that other vocalists and frontmen do. But he's got this way of mesmerizingly bringing people to him in a way that I've never truly seen anybody else do. Now, what does this do for your voice? When you're thinking this way, whether you're in the studio or whether you're performing, rather than you going this way, you think this way. And then there's this live link interaction between what's going on, this live link communication, regardless of whether you are the only one in the room or whether you're just singing to a bunch of cameras. And this tends to pull out a lot of things that I've talked about in Freddie's voice before. Varied tone. Love of my life. It's not just love of my life. He's not just hitting those notes. There's this love of my life, love of my life, love of my life. You've heard me. This is not dynamics for dynamics' sake. This is a constant recycling of the joining of emotion, the joining of engagement. And I get this picture when I watch him, and then when I start to try to internalize it in my own singing, of him constantly reaching out and grabbing someone in a loving way by their neck. And giving them a big hug, and then maybe releasing them, and then kind of doing the same with a couple other people. Now, if we embrace that kind of motion in our own singing, maybe there's someone who's a little further away and you need to get their attention. Maybe there's someone who's really close and you want to get their attention. Maybe there's someone who is being a little rowdy over here and you need to be like, hey, come on. You need to raise your voice a little bit more. You're communicating with all these different souls, with all these different types of people. Now, if you have this mindset, are you thinking about, can I hit that note coming up in a perfect mixed voice? No. Are you thinking about, I got to get my compression dialed in so that I have the right amount of... No, you're not. You're not thinking about that. You are now, having practiced that stuff and having dialed that in your practice time, you can be more free to kind of throw that out the window and embrace the moment. And that's why you need to be really comfortable with those techniques. But so often as performers and singers, and even in the studio, when it comes time to make things really count, we start focusing on the technical aspects of, I practice this, and this. I got to make sure I do all these because this is the take. This is the one. This is the performance. When Freddie demonstrates over and over again that that's the opposite of what we want to do. Okay, I've done this. I've trained. I'm okay. Now it's time for the race, or now it's time for this actual thing that counts. Now it's time for me to embrace the moment and bring people in. So I'm going to take the first two lines of Love of My Life. That's it. And I'm going to visualize this sort of thing. I'm going to visualize him performing it. I'm going to use this sort of allegorical relationship of, bringing people in to what I'm doing. This idea of, I want to be known. I want to be understood. I want to express not for the point of expressing, but to be related to. This kind of connection that you have with other people is the kind of connection you can bring with your voice. And as a result, the things that happen that are warty or not as good don't matter, because it's part of you being known. It's part of you relating and communicating and being human. So let's do this. There's no music behind me. We're just gonna go for it and see what happens. Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Love of my life, you've hurt me. You've broken my heart, and now you leave me. Love of my life, can't you see? Love of my life, 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 love of my life. Can't you see? What are you communicating? How are you communicating through the words? How are you bringing people into what you're doing and not merely presenting, hoping for some reaction that you expect? What kind of experience are you helping others be a part of? That's what Freddie Mercury does that most singers don't do. And I hope that this video has inspired you to give that a try, a mindset tweak. If you'd like more vocal lessons, if you'd like more perspective shifts to be brought your direction, click that link below and join my free vocal course. Thank you for allowing me to do these on YouTube and engage with my videos the way you do. We'll see you for more.